The Sons of Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, keep calm and tighten the hell up. We are the Sons of Bud. Brandon Davis, Clay Watson, Christopher Judkins. 3 lifelong Titan fans on a quest to see the boys bring a Super Bowl to Music City. Now keep calm and tighten the hell up. It's the Sons of Bud Podcast.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the third installment of the Sons of Bud Podcast. We are very, very excited to have Tennessee Titans superfan and collector Preston Penn on. We are thrilled to death to have this dude join us today. Preston, where are you at?
I'm in my sports room in Nashville, Tennessee.
You're out in the Ville, huh?
Yes, sir.
Clay, what you got for Preston? I know you've been dying to talk to Preston.
No, man, Preston, it's an honor to have you on here, man. You're an icon in the Titans fandom. I just wanted to ask you, you're a very strong advocate in the community in Nashville, and of course a huge collector. Tell us about how and when you started collecting, and what drove you to really being a role model in the Nashville community.
Well, collecting, I mean, when I was little, I would do baseball cards, basketball cards, all that kind of stuff. And then once we actually got a team, we thought, okay, 96, we're actually going to get an NFL team. Okay, maybe it's going to happen. Thinking, well, hopefully it does. 97, they moved to Memphis. I'm thinking, okay, this is getting closer to being real. I'm originally from Memphis. 98, they moved to Vanderbilt and Nashville. I'm thinking, oh, God, we actually haven't have an NFL team. Holy crap. So 99, we get a team, and then I start collecting some of the cards and stuff, and and everybody collected cards, it's like, so I wanted to do something different. So I started trying to collect game jerseys and different stuff like that. So I wanted to do something a little bit different. And of course, collecting game use stuff has really taken off over the last 3 or 4 years. But for a while, it was just more autographed photos, autographed helmets that people were collecting, cards. I mean, just pennants, posters, whatever you could get.
I know that there's been a lot of former Titans players and Titans players have reached out to you that you communicate with, and I think help promote fundraising and stuff with. How'd you get started in all that?
Well, I kind of started looking at it and thinking, okay, especially when the fundraiser happened, or the fundraiser, God crap. Started looking at it when the tornado happened in March. And I thought, there's enough people that follow me. Maybe I can help use my little platform to kind of help raise some money. And, working for the Department of Human Services, we look at really wanting to help people. And I take that seriously outside of my job as well. I mean, it's not just the 9 to 5 or I guess 8 to 4:30 for me. It's really like a full life living thing if you're able to help somebody, help somebody. I mean, it doesn't matter what the circumstance is. And I wanted to be able to start raising money and doing it in a way that was creative instead of just, okay, I want you to donate money to somebody you barely know. Maybe I did something, like, okay, let's raise some money. Like you donate money, you have a chance to get drawn and have win a Titans related prize or something else. So I started raising money and ended up having a couple of friends of mine donate some items. And overall, between the tornado relief, the pandemic relief, raising money for a couple people outside of that, and for the Black Lives Matter fund for George Floyd, I think I raised $5,500 this year.
That's phenomenal, man. And that all the money helping to go to Nashville communities and everything. I was born and raised in Kingsport, Tennessee, and 4 hours away from Nashville. Would go to see visit my grandmother over the summer for a week. She lived in Antioch, so I was very familiar with that part of town, and hearing about the tornado coming through and destroying businesses and whatnot, it really hit home for me. But yeah, so what else do you got for him, Chris?
Well, I just wanted to say that it's a blessing to have the kind of human on this podcast, because that's what we want to do. We want to help you out, Preston, to continue helping others, and that's what I'm all about as a human, and I think that's what kind of makes this podcast unique. We like to have a little bit of fun, but I just think it's inspiring what you're doing, and I want to thank you first. And secondly, I got to get into a little bit of sports talk because as I'm learning a little bit more about you, I see that you're a diehard Grizzlies fan, and I think they got the best uniforms in all of sports.
Yes.
Or at least in the NBA, they're my favorite. I love their jerseys. And I know you're a diehard Titans fan, and I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this question, but if it came down to a championship in Memphis or a championship in Nashville, which one would excite you and get you a little more fired up? I know you're passionate about both fans or both teams, but I'm just curious, which one would you rather desire? Which title would you covet more?
I don't have kids yet, but that's like picking a favorite kid. So that's going to be tough to do. But that being said, Memphis Tigers were my first love, the college basketball team. Watching Penny Hardaway, Lorenzen Wright, Keith Lee, all those guys growing up, a huge Memphis Tigers fan. Then, of course, the Titans, and then now the Grizzlies. Living in Nashville and having gotten to know some of the Titans players personally, and none of the guys I know that played for the Tigers play now, obviously, because they graduated. God, because that'd be weird, 38-year-old guy playing basketball with a bunch of 20-year-olds. I would say, unless it's pickup basketball or church, right?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But if I had to pick, it would be the Titans. I just to see this energy in this town, just the way that it was with the Super Bowl parade when we lost, was insane. Like, I skipped college that day to go down there, and it was.
I skipped high school, Preston.
You would swear that we would have won the Super Bowl the way the turnout was and the excitement, and to come up 1 yard short. Just imagine what happens, especially now with more fans and more social media and more exposure. Winning the Super Bowl, God, I can't imagine.
Yeah, it's my number one, goal in sports. It's for my dad more than anything. Me and him went to that game. We drove back from Georgia 4 hours after that Super Bowl, didn't say one word to each other. And this podcast is about getting that 1 yard back. And, it's all things positive Titans. We're homers. We're not going to lie to you. This is a 100% Titans love podcast, and that's why we had you. You're our second ever Titans guest. What can we do to protect your stuff back there? I want to know, can we start a GoFundMe to get you like a little shelter we can put all that stuff in? I want to get all your stuff protected so your legacy is able to be preserved for centuries and centuries. What can we do to get all that stuff protected back there?
Man, that's much appreciated. So we're actually in the process of looking for a new house. I've got a really good security system. I've got protection here as far as, you know what I mean? Just been enough to, protect myself should I need it. And, the new house I'm going to have probably build a sports room in the back, behind the house that's going to be deadbolted and locked, and it's going to look good. It's not going to be like a piece of crap barn or anything. It's going to look good. It's going to be protected. I'm going to continue. I obviously take that part very seriously. The collection's insured. And, one thing I do is I try to make sure that a lot of stuff in my collection is posted online so that if for some reason it ever does come up, somebody did steal it, get posted, someone's trying to sell it, that pretty much directly traces it back to who took it because, especially if the person, I'm about to say a bad word, the person put, it has to Preston on it. I'm like, well, obviously it's mine. And there are a number of unique items that might have or might not have been taken by that person ever surfaced, then they know where it's traced from, and then they could lead it probably to the proper person, or if that's not the person, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm curious how many different players you've met as a result of being a collector and who all on the Titans you know personally and have interacted with. Clay was telling me last night you met Pac-Man.
I did. Pac-Man. Well, see, funny thing was I met him back in 2005. He got drafted. He did that holdout thing. And I was on my way to training camp one day, and me and some kids that I picked up and took with me, went to, I used to take them to training camp before they could drive. We stopped at the Tiger Market right there near the training camp, and I see a guy get out, and I'm like, God, that looks a lot like Pac-Man. And I'm thinking, nah, it can't be. He's holding out. So I go up there, and I go in, and I'm looking at the guy, and he's got a Pac-Man chain on him, and I'm thinking, okay, that's him. I said, what's up, Pac-Man? He goes, what's up, man? How you doing? Talk to me for 5 minutes. He was cool. And then I reminded him of that because we started talking on Instagram, I had one of his game jerseys. I posted. He goes, "I'll buy it," and I messaged him. I said, "Can I trade you instead for a Bengals jersey?" He was going to come down here originally in middle of September, but pandemic and all that, whatever. So I was like, I wasn't going to count on that. Wife and I wanted to get away, so it's like, you know what? Let me message him and see if he's available that weekend because he has a pizza place. I messaged him. He goes, yeah, come on up Saturday. We'll hang out and whatever. So we go up to Louisville the night before and stay there. Go to Cincinnati, check it out. Go meet him at his pizza place in Covington, Kentucky. He's about 45 minutes late. He comes in. He's just like, because he calls the people that run, that work for him. It's his family. He said, I got people. Are they there? I go, yeah. So they're waiting. Get them whatever they want on me. So they fed me. I'm like, this is cool. Got me some wings. Got me some cheesecake bites or some fried Oreos. This was cool. And I'm thinking, this is neat. This is just like, this dude's cool.
It's a beautiful blessing. You got blessed by Pac-Man Jones, dude.
Yes, sir.
Clay, what you got?
Oh man, that's just awesome, man. Like, that's just like a dream come true of mine. I've met a few Titans players at an autograph. I've met Keith Bullock and Mike Keith. I know he's not a player, but Albert Hainsworth. So just having that interaction with them, it's just awesome. And then it's good to see that the players actually respect and are appreciative of their fan base, and turn around and show the love back. So I had to say, like, what through all your jerseys and helmets and game balls and everything, like, what do you think what's your most prized possession?
Oh, that's tough because I've some of the stuff that I've gotten personally. I've gotten a couple jerseys from Darren Bates. I've gotten one from Avery Williamson. I've gotten some pretty cool stuff. I think the most unique thing is probably, and I can grab it real fast. It's a game jersey worn by Derek Mason in that 1998 season. He probably wore it when they beat the Steelers because in '98. What's cool is that, you remember this, they only wore white jerseys the entire year. So I'm pretty sure most of them had just one jersey. They were trying to save as much money as possible. So, they went on the cheap because they knew the next year they're getting new uniforms. And this is the last hurrah. They didn't want to go overboard and, make that X number of uniforms per season when they don't, when they're not going to use them ever again after this year. So I've got that. So basically.
Yeah, I got to see that. I can totally understand why that's so prized.
So it's got the big patch on it, and I love this thing, man, because it's beat to hell. It has got repair after repair after repair. It is. If you look at where the hell to go, okay. So I'll turn it around and show you that backside. Got him to sign it. If you zoom in, you see there's repairs like right there. It's torn up real bad right there also.
Wow.
And they don't even make jerseys like this really anymore. This is old material. No. You probably don't even make jerseys with this stuff.
Correct. Yeah, because the Nike stuff is so different as far as and here's that big repair right there over the number. See that? They sewed this thing together over and over again, thinking, please God, let this thing actually last for the next few months so we can get new uniforms and just go on with our lives.
You ain't never put that thing on, have you?
Never, no. I've only put a couple of them on. It's ones that I knew that I probably would trade to somebody or, just to try it on I put a Gerald McCrath on one time just to be funny. That thing was like, and he's bigger than I am, and those things fit so tight. And it's just, I can't imagine. I would suffocate if I had to wear that without pads. It would be terrible.
Gerald McGrath is really cool because he's famous in the Tennessee Titan fan podcast world. He goes on with Mr. Titan live all the time. There's a lot of Titans that are interacting with podcasters now, and we're hoping to get Darren Bates involved with us. We're hoping to link that connection between you and him because we're just interested in working with the Titans, becoming a part of the community, helping out like what you're doing. And it's just really exciting. I kind of want to know, do you have an all-time favorite Titan?
Gosh, the easiest answer, it's always like one of those that, they say, okay, well, your favorite Titan's such an easy fallback answer to say Eddie or Steve or Javon. It's always such an easy answer. It's hard to, for a while it was Mariota. God, it's hard to tell. That's just, that really is a tough question just because there's so many good players over the years that were underrated. Keith Bullock was really underrated. That's a really hard answer. I don't know that I necessarily have a favorite. My favorite current is obviously Darren because, I talk, fairly regularly. But and that's cool, and that means more to me than getting an autograph or anything like that. I mean, it's like I can talk to him like he's you or me. You know what I mean? He just it just have that
Well,
kind of
he is. They are
yeah.
you and me. They're not. I mean, they play a sport, but at the end of the day, they put on their pants just like you do, and they just happen to be a lot more highly gifted athletes than if me and you and Clay ran out on that field. I'll tell you that.
Absolutely, God, yes.
Darren Bates, to get more into him, me and Clay notice when we watch him, he is the most passionate player on that sideline. What do you think? Do you agree on the team?
He's the unofficial hype man. He gets into it. And every time a big play, you see him jumping around.
Yeah,
I mean, you see times where somebody gets on the sideline. A few games ago, somebody got on the sideline, and I don't remember what happened. It was like somebody got tackled on the sideline, and he's like jawing back and forth with them. I'm thinking, my man's getting into it with somebody. He's not even on the field right now. This is awesome.
His best reaction was whenever those big stiff arms come from Derrick Henry.
Like, oh my God, yes.
Preston, talk about the stiff arm on Sunday. I mean, we might as well.
My God, that might be the best stiff arm of all of them. I mean, you see, the Josh Norman was great. The Earl Thomas is great. All the Jaguars. I mean, he stiff arms a Jaguar every freaking time. I mean, we're used to that. If they're playing the Jaguars, they're gonna stiff arm them at least once.
That's what
once
I
a
was
game.
talking to Chris about last night. I was saying that like comparing the stiff arm against Josh Norman and the defender on the Lions, it's like with Josh Norman, he kind of just got tossed back, but this guy on the Lions legitly just got smacked. Like he got smacked
Yes.
to the ground. Like it like that was just ferocious. And I was watching it on my lunch break at work, and it was like 2 minutes before I had to go back in. I'm sitting back in the office, and of course after that stiff arm, I'm like screaming. I'm just like, oh my God, I hate that I have to stop watching right now, but it's just like Derrick Henry's just another breed, and everybody has really been saying, all these naysayers, that all these carriers are gonna catch up to him over these past couple years. But me and Chris were talking last night, and he's like, nah, Derrick Henry is just the way that he exercises and takes care of himself. He has 7 more years to go at least.
I think he's got a while. I mean, go back to stiff arm. I mean, you're right. I mean, I've not heard that was the most vicious stiff arm of all of them. Because I mean, you sit in the stadium, you hear it just a smack, and I'm like, oh my God! Because even when they showed the replay, you heard the smack, and it's just like it got louder every time. So I'm thinking, my God, this dude actually got up after he hit him, which is insane. Because I mean, this dude Derrick bodied that guy.
He acted like it didn't hurt either.
Yeah.
And guys, I bet you anything Derrick would be the first guy after that game to go up to that dude and give him a hug too. Because I don't know, it's just crazy how he can separate his personal self, and the way that Eddie George has turned him into an animal on that field is the most valuable thing that's happened to our franchise. Eddie George and that discussion with Derrick Henry. What do you think, Preston?
I think it definitely has helped. I mean, I think Derrick probably talking to Eddie on a somewhat regular basis, just kind of bouncing off information. I mean, he gets a good perspective from Tony Deuce, the running backs coach, but just having a guy that's done it, and a guy that runs similarly, and a guy that just really knows how to push his buttons in a sense. I mean, he got Derrick going even more. I mean, it was like that. He got Derrick to channel something possibly that he might not have channeled otherwise. And Derrick, of course, wants to be great, but it's just a matter of Eddie kind of saying, might say the right thing, and it's like, God, you know what? You're right. That makes sense. And just really listening to him and getting that different perspective and applying it to what Tony told him, and just kind of maybe going from there. Just really him being coachable and just willing to take that advice and criticism is such a huge a thing that you can do. It's humbling for a guy that's that good, knows he's that talented, to say, you know what, I can still learn something, and it can make me better.
It may go back to Coach Saban, and that I don't know how much those Alabama coaches helped Derrick. He's had so much good knowledge along the way. Think about that, what he's come from and what he won the Heisman. I mean, the dude is going places. I think by the end of it, this is, I don't even want to say it.
Do you think that Derrick Henry is going to reach the 2,000 mark?
He's what, like 160 a game each game, the last two games? I think if he has a really good game against Detroit, then yeah, and especially if the Colts win somehow, think if the Colts win, they're going to obviously have to run Derek a lot in both games because they've got to get a win no matter what. They can't sleep on Houston because Houston may want to play spoiler as bad as they are. You still can't sleep on Deshaun Watson's ability to make plays. So I think that you have to hope that if you're shooting for 2,000, you have to, you have to hope that Derek's used in both games. And I kind of do want him to be used in both games to a degree. If he gets 2,000, great, but I don't want him being rested at all week 17 and then you come out flat the next week. You've seen how many times a team will rest their guys week 17. Then the first round of the playoffs, they're flat and they get beat, they get rolled.
Preston, we got a huge. Go ahead, Clay. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. All that I was going to say is that these last 2 weeks are going to be crucial because the AFC South is on the line, and with 2 final games, if the Colts lose against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then we win, and then I would say that in Week 17 that we still need to win because if the Colts win against the Jaguars, and then we would be tied with the division record. I think we would win the tiebreaker. So we just got to win these next 2 games, even if the Colts lose against the Steelers. And then it would be very beneficial, I think, if we can start our very first playoff game at home versus last year whenever they were on the road for 3 or 4 weeks in a row. And it was, obvious after before the second half started that the Titans were just, winded, and they just been playing with their heart out. And that very last play of the half where Mahomes ran it in for a touchdown. It's like, oh yeah, he's running out of bounds. Like, nope, he's gonna just keep on running for a touchdown. Like, I just knew then that, that we were in trouble. We were 10 points ahead. That it was heartbreaking, but I still think that run that they had last season was fantastic. And now I think going into the final weeks of the regular season with Adoree Jackson coming back healthy and Christian Fulton, I just think that they're going to be cautious with Christian if they this week like they were with Adoree against the Lions, 20 to 30 steps at most. And I just feel very confident that we're equipped to make a strong run and hopefully to the Super Bowl and to bring that Lombardi trophy back home with us.
I hope so. I'm with you. That Mahomes run really did kind of think, oh God, we're in trouble. But it's one of those things they learn from. And, this team has clearly learned and clearly gotten better. Clearly, even losing all that veteran leadership in one offseason didn't hurt as much as a lot of people thought. Losing Jarrell, Delaney, Woodyard, and several others all in the same, and Logan all in the same offseason. You thought, my God, they're just, who's going to step up? Well, Big Jeff stepped up as the young leader. Byard has continued to step up. Henry's continued to step up. And you've got Tannehill. And you've got a veteran coach. Yep. And you've got a veteran coaching staff they've maintained that consistency on the staff for the most part. Only 1 or 2 guys each year have left, and the majority of the staff is still, they know how to work together. You've not had a whole lot of changes above player wise. And that's been that consistency, I think, has been huge also to continue to build this thing and continue to move in the right direction like they're doing.
Let's get that third down defense shored up, and we can win this damn Super Bowl, y'all. I'm not kidding. And I think when the defensive backs, when you get all 5 healthy together, that's going to help our pass rush so much. And I think the key to our pass rush, it is Landry. Obviously, he's our best pass rusher, and we don't have a lot. But I think Big Jeff taking up those 2 offensive linemen and him getting into this mode where I think he's going to take over the team, and he has taken over the team. I feel like he's the emotional guy on the sidelines now. Not on the sidelines, but in the pregame, he gets everybody in the huddle and gets the entire team feeding off his raw strength. And if our secondary can cover, for just a couple of more milliseconds, and Tart can make his impact, I think Tart has been huge. I think you finally saw Daquan Jones come through and make a huge play that hit on that goal line where Compton picked up that ball on the fumble. That was one of the most exciting plays of the year. I'm so happy for Compton right there and Daquan, because Daquan had a rough couple of weeks. What do you think about that play? That play got me fired up too.
It's pretty awesome. We'll be in 1-for-1 on coming in and getting that fumble. That is awesome. I'm happy for him. He's a great dude. It's just a hard worker. That podcast aside, he's an awesome dude. It just comes in there and gives that veteran presence of he can step in at linebacker. He can play special teams. He's kind of one of those guys that just people look to, if they to read a defense. I mean, that guy can do a little bit of everything, and I think that play though specifically, I mean, was a real turning point. And then they continue to get turnovers, and finally were able to start cashing in on them more, and just really that's when I think the difference in the game started. They just started separating from the Lions, and they started cashing in on those turnovers instead of crap, give the ball back with a punt, give the ball back with a safety. And it's like, crap, you don't want that to happen, but it's just, then they finally did it. And then you saw how good the team could be when they can cash in on a turnover. And like you said, third down defense, if they can get that fixed, whether it's just finding a way to get pass rush somewhere else other than Landry and Ray and Tart and Big Jeff, maybe blitz a DB like Pease did, or do something to be creative. I mean, anything at this point, because can't go out and get somebody. Clay Matthews, I mean, would be great. How much does he have left? Why is he still out there? Why has he been out there?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like you're going to go magically find somebody. You can't trade for somebody. You're not going to magically sign somebody that's on the street that's going to come in and make a huge impact. You have to work with what you have, and I think they're going to find a way to do it.
Got to bend and not break,
Absolutely.
Guys, it's been so good talking about this. I think we got to move into the Green Bay game. What do you got for that, Clay?
Not much, just like you said, just the defense to continue getting off of the field after third down, and really tightening up there in the red zone. And of course, Tannehill is playing with fire and passion right now, and A.J. Brown, Corey Davis about to eclipse 1,000 rushing yards, and Derrick Henry knock on the door and 2,000 rushing yards. This offense is just on a whole other level right now, and one of the top scoring offenses in the league right now, and with the most touchdowns and so on and so forth. So just the offense to continue to play with fire and passion. It's going to be a true test going into Lambeau Field on Sunday night. We're going to be in the spotlight. So with in the past, it seems like the Titans have not played up to expectations those games. But like I said, I think they've learned from those mistakes from the past, and I think that they're going to go well equipped and come out with a dub from Lambeau. I think it's going to be a tight game, but I'm confident. I'm very confident in this game.
What do you think, Preston? What do you think about the Green Bay game?
The more I look at it, the more, I mean, you see Aaron Rodgers and how good their offense is, and how they can run the ball, they can pass the ball. But I'm with you guys. I think that if they can just do what they do and play their game, I mean, Titans can beat anybody if they play their game right. You run Derrick Henry. That guy gets in the fourth quarter. It's cold as crap. Nobody wants to tackle him, even in the first quarter, let alone the fourth quarter after he's been beating him for three quarters. And you can have any sort of ability to have a balanced attack. I mean, like anything else, if you can pass the ball well, you can start running Henry. And then if you can start running Henry, you can pass the ball. You just have to be able to have some sort of balanced ability to not be completely one-dimensional and have to run Derrick Henry 35, 40 times and not be able to pass the ball. Because if they find a way to, start putting 8 men in the box, and you're going to have 2 or 3 people open, Tannehill will pick you apart with Brown, with Davis, with Smith, with any number of guys. You could be Batson, could be Pruitt, could be Ferkser. You just got so many different weapons that it could be Westbrook Ekron. I mean, it's just one of those that he can pick you apart if you give him the opportunity. And if they're dumb enough to put 8 men in the box, let him. If they're dumb enough to drop back a lot of people, Henry's gonna run over them. I mean, it's just, if they do what they do and play their own game, I think they can beat anybody, including the Packers.
I'm excited to see what we do on defense. Why? Because they got a good offensive line in Green Bay, I believe. They have a really good running back. It seems like Aaron Jones may be a top 5 back in this league. I'm curious to see how our defense handles their offense. Why? This is a Super Bowl type matchup. We're going against a quarterback that can put the ball anywhere he wants to at any time. So our 5 defensive backs, hopefully we get Christian Fulton back. It's going to be chess all over the field. This game is going to be high scoring. I'm picking Titans 37, Packers 34, something like that. We may have to rely on Goski to go out and kick a game-winning field goal. This may be the game of the year. It may hopefully be more of a dominating Titans performance. I'd like to go out there and kick their ass. We have a history of being able to whoop Green Bay at home. if we go out, the game, I'm excited just to see a game on Sunday night, with the Titans in Lambeau Field. That's just insane. I hope the weather plays into King Henry's hands. Nobody's going to want to tackle that dude up there.
You also got to think about Darrington Evans being back, and that's a speedy speedster right there. App State alum, shout out, go App State. But I think
Nice.
that he's just great on the screen passes, and he's just quick as it can be. So I think that we're gonna wear down them with Derrick Henry, and then we're gonna start throwing these like check down passes to Darrington Evans, and he's just gonna just take off with it. I'm so excited. So excited.
Yeah, Devins is freaking fast. I mean, we knew he was fast, but I mean, by far, the last game by far was the best performance for him. I mean, he started getting carries. They showed he can make plays in space. I mean, this is what you drafted this guy for, and to be able to do that, I think is good. And to be able to the more weapons we have, the better. I just like you guys. I mean, I'm glad to see him on Sunday night, and there's not been a huge home field advantage. So with no fans, I mean, I think that obviously helps the Titans a lot because you don't have that loud Green Bay people or fans cheering, and it's almost like it's a neutral site, but it's just going to be cold.
And it's a mystical football site, though. I mean, to think about Derrick Henry on that field and what's been on that field before him and where he's going in the NFL kingdom, it's just kind of cool to imagine him going off in Lambeau a little bit.
Absolutely.
Man, I am so juiced for Titans football. I'm so juiced for us to get this playoff position. I'm so juiced for us to clinch this division. I honestly, if we get the division, I'm sorry, but I love the number 2,000, but it's not as huge of a priority. And I think Darrington Evans is just what the doctor ordered in order to get Henry, a little bit more. I just don't know that I want to run him 30 times per game if we clinch the division on Sunday night.
Mm-mm.
You know what I mean?
100%. I'm with you. I mean, at that point, you can you want to run him some enough to keep him, keep him like in the groove. But
Exactly.
Let Evans get some playing time. That's only going to help him at this point. You know what you have in McNichols. You know what you have in pretty much everybody else. You kind of know what you have in Evans, but you just want to get more of a body of work. You want to get him some game experience because they're going to need him in the playoffs. They're going to need that speed and that ability for him to get in there and pick up a blitz on third down possibly, or catch a screen pass, or maybe even go out wide, be a decoy, do a draw. He's got to be able to have that. The more in-game experience he has, the better he's going to be able to help the Titans and help Henry have the confidence to put him let Henry rest a little bit because you have a good option with Evans.
I think he's going to take a kickoff return either to the house or damn near eventually, too. I think he showed some explosion on kickoff return, too.
Yes.
Oh, man, I'm so excited. Clay, what you got over there?
I don't got anything else other than, just thank you, Preston, for investing your time and coming in here and talking with us. And hopefully next time we can get you and Darren Bates on here. Any other time, you're more than welcome to join up if you want. We're trying to get some other super fans, the Chili Pepper, Titan Man. I've been trying to see if Spider Titan has a Twitter, but I haven't seen that.
We
But,
want to get Bud's daughters on here, too. I want the Crazy Titan Lady.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy
Preston-
Titan Lady.
Yeah, Preston, is there anything you want to plug up that we can help you get some exposure to before we end the podcast?
I appreciate that, guys. I mean, if you want to put my Twitter handle out there, that'd be awesome. It's at @TheRealPress10. And if anybody wants to see my Titans collection beyond the video, it's www.titanscollection.com. I built the website myself, and it's fun. I mean, it's pretty organized. It's easy to navigate, and it's got all my contact information on there as well. So, I've had a great time with you guys. I appreciate it, and I will gladly come on with Darren, with anybody, anytime you want me to. I'd be more than happy to come back on with you guys.
You feel like a long-lost brother to me. I don't know how to explain it, but
that's
right. Yeah, brother, and I can't wait till you meet my dad, Bud Judkins, in person. That's who the inspiration for the podcast is, and you interact with him on Twitter. So shout out to my dad. I love the Titans. I love you guys. I really appreciate this opportunity, this experience. And all I got to say is keep calm and tighten the hell up. You know what I mean?
right. Keep calm and tighten the hell up, baby.
Woo! Sons of Bud podcast, episode 3. It's a wrap.